start recording now. And it's actually 7:30, so I guess it's time. Oh, okay, yeah, very, very hard cut on the music. Hello, hello, people of the internet. I believe we are rolling, and oh my gosh.
We're here.
Jesse Novak's here.
We're doing it.
Good to see you, Jesse.
Good to see you.
It's been a long time.
It has.
I mean, we're going to sit here and act like we haven't seen each other. I mean, we really haven't,
Yeah,
but we
haven't.
also have been like talking for like the past 30 minutes.
Yes.
So
but
we've
we're
kind
going
of
to
already
pretend like that didn't happen.
Yeah, we've kind of already done our pleasantries
Yes.
and catch-ups and things like that. So it's really cool to have you here because you're somebody that I've always known as a DJ on top of many other things, but also somebody that has DJ'd at like metal events and spinning, you know, some good old classic vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you're one of the people that, you know, somewhat inspired me to want to do something
nice.
like this myself because, you know, I DJ in my day job various kinds of music, but, you know, we'll just say I don't DJ my favorite kind of music often.
Yeah. Yeah.
But here I am, and now this gives me an opportunity to kind of dig more into what is my favorite music, which is metal.
Yeah.
But like really hone in on to the 80s just to keep it somewhat specific.
Yeah, yeah.
And because there's like also like so much stuff that I feel like I kind of missed, like a born too late sort of situation. I mean, I was born in 85.
Yeah.
So by the time I'm like, you know, 5, 6, 7, developing my own identity, I'm having to deal with, you know, the 90s.
Yeah,
and a
yeah.
lot of the 80s stuff kind of got missed. And what I was able to absorb was stuff from like my parents and stuff they were
Yeah.
listening to. But, you know, that was my parents' music. I want to find my own thing. So I kind of went through all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But so now I'm kind of going back and trying to like do the thing that a lot of people romanticize when they're talking about like the age of streaming, where it's like, I miss going to a record store and just seeing something that looks cool
Yeah.
and just buying it. And it's like, now I'm doing that. Like, you
Yeah.
know, I'm going to record stores. I'm looking for old, it's not even exclusively metal, but, you know, old stuff in general. And just like, what is this?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's $7. I'm buying it. And actually, I brought some stuff today that I've never listened to, that I have found in my travels.
I love
so that
it.
could be fun. You might know some of it. Some of it might be new for us. It's a little bit of a discovery.
Cool.
Yes. So, Jesse, the other thing that I want to bring up before we get started was we're also alike in the sense that you, as far as I know, do not have a specific DJ name.
I don't. Yeah, and I don't even, I've thought about it, and someone actually said, like, what should we put on the flyer? And I just said, just put DJ Jesse Novak. There's no name otherwise, so.
So we're a couple minutes into the stream. DJ Ian 4K is already here, shout out. Video frozen, audio sounds good. So we already have an issue with the camera, which is super duper tight. Really, really glad to see that that's happening. So I've figured out a quick way to fix this. So what I need to do actually is we're gonna switch to this camera for now because it's working. And why don't we we'll pick up the conversation in a second. Okay. But why don't we start a song, get that going, and I'll fix the camera. So you want to tell us a bit about what's happening here?
I figured we'd start local. Dream Death.
Nice.
You know, nothing heavier from Pittsburgh. You know, pretty much the heaviest thing to ever happen here. So, should I hit it?
Yeah, hit it.
All right.
So Jesse, what can you tell me about Dream Death here, other than Pittsburgh?
So these guys were local. I think they were from New Penn, or up that way. And this came out on New Renaissance. I think it was 1987. this is just like such a creepy, heavy album. Like, and they go through like really slow kind of doom metal parts, but then there's a lot of like really fast bursts of like thrash or almost hardcore-ish.
Yeah.
And the vocals are really like Slayer-ish.
Yeah.
And then Dream Death became the band Penance. And Ted, who plays on this, I believe Ted is third from the left in that photo. He went on to play in Eviction. So these guys have a very long, storied history in Pittsburgh. And Mike, who plays drums in Dream Death and Penance, also played with like Pentagram and Cathedral, Internal Void. So a lot of history there. But yeah, this is probably my favorite local metal album ever.
Nice.
Yeah, so figured it would be a good way to start. And it's like crushingly heavy. It's like, has that kind of creepy vibe that I like in metal.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Yeah.
Recorded in Latrobe.
Yeah.
So they got the merchandise and info PO box. Do you think that's still open?
Well, let's write to it
In
and
Leechburg?
See. So this should be coming to an end.
Yeah.
Really soon. This is a promo. Inside, I've got the, came with, when I got it at Jerry's, like the original
Oh, hell yeah.
one sheet bio from New Renaissance.
That's so sick. It really was a different time.
Yeah. Lyric sheet.
Hell yeah. So, which track was that then?
That was Back from the Dead. It's just super catchy.
They said it a few times
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
track. So that's super cool. Yeah, you know, there's another thing like that I am also like unfortunately so like ignorant's a strong word to use. We'll just say unknowing about is like what the local metal scene was like, you know, throughout the 80s or even the early 90s, you know, just because I barely existed. You know, I actually have like a pretty fun collection of stuff from my dad that I had been saving for this stream.
Oh, awesome.
For you specifically.
Oh, nice.
So like my dad was like a metal dude, still is a metal dude, and like went to like a bunch of shows. And so what this is it's a collection of flyers that he saved like throughout the years
I was
of
at
stuff.
that show.
Not all exclusively 80s, but there's a lot of fun stuff in here.
Yeah, there is.
And we can go through this in a little bit. So we're going to listen to some music.
That's
but
awesome.
This could be a fun, just little time capsule thing for a little bit
I'm
later.
stoked.
So again, just really wanted to bring that up because like I go through that and like there's like all these like local bands. I could tell they're local or maybe regional. And I'm like, I just wondered what the deal was with some of these bands, and maybe, you know, you're familiar with some of them or whatnot. It could be fun to know.
Looking forward
Love
to
to learn. But so I figured it would be fun just to go from Dream Death to Death Angel.
Yes.
Why not? And we'll listen to a fun track off of Frolic Through the Park called Why Do You Do This? Track 3, side
Great
A.
song, great album.
Yeah, and let's just fucking go for it. so I have this funny assumption that we might be this may be a little bit of a thrashier, heavier stream today. We'll see.
I brought a little bit of everything because I figured that way, like, I could riff off of whatever you were doing.
So this is 1988, tail end of the 80s here. But I think that it's pretty interesting because this band and this album, I think, seems to like kind of foreshadow a lot of what would come with like early 90s metal and bands trying to find their identity in like a post-hair generation, I suppose we'll call it.
Yeah, I mean, and they went a little more streamlined when they put Act 3 out and everything, but yeah, I think you're right. Like, they were definitely paving the way for something like a little bit more accessible, but still thrash for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's funny, like I feel like so many of like the hooks and the songs on this record sound like very 90s to me, which is why like every time I actually had to double check the year on this because I was like, I'm thinking in my head like, oh, this is probably 91 or something, but it's not. And it's cool because there's all these like weird time changes and somewhat progressive elements, but very approachable.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. It's a cool record. I haven't heard this in quite a while. Cue this up.
Oh yeah, go for it. It is funny, like, listening to this stuff and, like, it's also very, like, mind-opening in the sense of, like, a time before, like, everything was, like, so subgenre to death and things were, like, walled off. Like, you have to be A, B, or C. And, like, there was, like, so many bands in this time period that were just, like, whatever. And it was all just heavy metal. It wasn't,
like, there would be bands that were, like, death metal, but like they would call themselves like death thrash or whatever, like, and things like record labels I think sort of started pigeonholing things as like a way to sell it a little bit more, like this is death metal, and it was things were a little more open for sure at that point.
Or like magazines,
not quite as defined,
like magazines and stuff that are like trying to like hype up a new band or talk about something in an exciting way.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that was a little bit of Death Angel. I definitely suggest this album to anyone that hasn't ever heard it. It's a good one. And if you're in the Pittsburgh area, go see him with Wasp. Yeah,
that'll be a fun show. I heard this band on Headbangers Ball for the first time. And it's funny that, like, I'm Bored sounded so heavy. That was the song.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like now that song on this record is actually really accessible and not all that heavy at all.
It's like the grunge type track, which is another one of those like definitely like kind of like foreshadowing of like what would happen.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like I think it was kind of cool because I think it like helped them like kind of navigate into the 90s in like a much more organic and creative way versus some other bands that I feel like got into it and then all of a sudden you have like a Megadeth Risk sorta situation where it's like, I mean, you know, I think a lot of that was probably like Marty Friedman's passion project and Dave probably being too blasted to write songs or post blasted, whatever he was dealing with at that time.
I think I've only ever heard one song on that record, and it was so bad. I was like, I can't believe they even released it.
Well, it's crazy, you know, when I think about like Marty Friedman, because I have like so much respect for the dude and everything he's done.
He's amazing.
But when I like try to like tap into like what he's doing now and his, it's just like it ain't for me.
Yeah,
that's all I could say. It's not for me, but I'm glad he's having a good time.
I've not heard any of his solo material. I'm sure it's probably really good. I went to see him open for Queensryche, but I got there late, so I missed his set. So I don't know anything about like what any of it sounds like. But
yeah,
the dudes are ripping guitar players.
I was there.
Yeah,
I was at that show. I completely forgot I saw him. That was a very stressful night for personal reasons, but I was at that show, and that was a good set.
Yeah,
hell of a showman.
Okay. Yeah,
cool. But it was, you know.
I mean, I'm sure the musicianship is
definitely
top notch.
Definitely. He definitely has not forgotten how to play a guitar. I can tell you that. Cool. So what's next, homie? What do we got cooking here?
Nuclear Assault, Survive. We're gonna do a song from this record called Equal Rights. Nuclear Assault was the first band I ever saw live.
Wow.
Except for Michael Jackson. I had seen Michael Jackson.
Wow, you saw Michael Jackson live?
I did, yeah.
That's crazy. When and where did you see him?
1984 in Cleveland, Ohio. It was actually the Jacksons. It was him and all of his brothers, but they were doing material from Thriller and Off the Wall, as well as some of like the earlier material. And Sheryl Crow was the background singer.
No way.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, Nuclear Assault then would be the first show that I saw they were opening for Testament at the South Hills Theater. Now I live 3 blocks from the South Hills Theater. I did not know that.
And it's been a while since anything close to Testament has been in the South Hills.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this is a great record. It's slightly polished for those guys, but it's just great thrash with like a tinge of hardcore influence to it. So. Want me to hit it?
Let's fucking go. All right, so that was Nuclear Assault. And I am in the middle of queuing up a record here. So, Jesse.
Yeah. Danny Lilker on bass from Anthrax and Brutal Truth and 20 other bands, pretty much.
Yeah, it's funny how much, and it's like another thing that hasn't changed over time is just like the member swapping of bands throughout the years. It's like these like all these like little pockets of like LA, Bay Area, or New York, or like Tampa, like all these like kind of hot spot areas, and it's like, oh, like, you know, this like these 24 bands were actually like 3 different bands. It was just like a lot of...
How many bands has Paul Bostaph played drums for? Like Slayer, Testament, Exodus, like all the biggest thrash metal bands that dude's played for. Yeah, I guess you just learn, you end up just working with the same people because you know you can trust them.
Sure.
So you know they're good.
Yeah, and like it's funny. It's just like at the end of the day, it's just really about like the song.
Yeah.
And like whatever the easiest way to execute that song is, I suppose, is the way to do it.
Yeah.
It's really thinking about like this promo photo on the back of this that you know, it's the thing that I like so much about a lot of this stuff, and it's not even necessarily exclusive to thrash, but it just seemed like bands gave off this image that they were having fun. And it's a little bit rarer to see that now. Yeah. Especially with like so much modern metal stuff. It's like the music is good, but like it's always like the imagery of it is always so like serious. And like it kind of turns me off sometimes. Like I've kind of lost count of the amount of like bands that like I've like heard a song and have been like, oh, like this is cool and I'm really getting into it. And then like as soon as I see like a video or a picture of them, I'm like turned off for some reason. I'm like, oh, it's one of these. Yeah. And like it just like rubs me the wrong way, but that's like me being kind of a brat. I'm very well aware of that too, you know.
Well, I think there's something to be said for like watching a band that's having fun and enjoying themselves and not just ultra serious about things. And Nuclear Assault is a great example of that, and like Exodus is a good example of that. Like bands that like take it seriously but don't take themselves too seriously. So,
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hear you on that.
Yeah, and I feel like it's like because like a lot of thrash, like 80s thrash stuff, like it is fun. Like it sounds fun. And I don't know if it's just because like band promos like that, or like band promos like Exodus, or that stuff's like burned into my brain and connected with the music.
Even like the images are like, you know, just looking through these records here, they're kind of like, there's like a certain lightheartedness to it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's keep on playing some music, I suppose. So, have this Zoetrope record, sticking with Combat Records.
I like it.
I had noticed that we had that. So this is 1985, and this was one of those records that like my dad had the cassette tape of, and I remember listening to it a lot as a kid. So, I mean, I really don't have much else to say other than that. I don't have any like fun background stories or anything other than that. But
I know they played here a few times.
Yeah, that's probably why my dad liked them. He probably saw them, I'm sure. But this is a track, it's just called Creatures, and the only reason I'm playing this track is because I play in a band called Normal Creatures. We're not metal at all, but, we're kind of metal. But there's no reason other than I'm just playing it, so it's my show, deal with it. Let's go.
In a
All right, so that was Creatures by Zoetrope. The funny thing about that, I was just thinking, is that sometimes you listen to stuff and it kind of sounds ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And this actually sounds like a little bit like late for 85,
Yeah.
which is really funny.
Like it could be 82.
Yeah.
Like there's like a little bit of aggression from thrash and hardcore in it, but like there's definitely like a new wave of British heavy metal like,
definitely
ethic to it for sure.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about, like Barry Stern playing drums and lead vocals is amazing. And it's weird because I've been told that it's pronounced E-trope.
Oh, really?
But I don't know if that's true or not.
I have no idea.
Yeah, me either. So interesting.
Huh.
I always said zoetrope, but someone told me it was E-trope.
Well,
Yeah.
Who knows?
I'm not a linguist.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I have no idea. But those are fun facts.
Yeah, Chicago metal.
Nice. Yeah, so that's it, even that sound, like knowing that it's from Chicago, for some reason it like makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
So it seems like more of kind of like a melting pot of stuff from both coasts kind of coming together, you know.
Yeah, true. I didn't even think of that. Like Chicago, Detroit, like really kind of right in the center and absorbing things from everywhere.
Yeah.
As well as, you know, putting out a lot of like highly original bands as well. So
yeah. And if you get into that whole like Michigan area, then I'm thinking like Stooges.
Yeah.
And like you can even kind of hear like some of that more like punk, not punk.
Yeah, like
sorta.
a proto-punk kind of feel. And yeah, Stooges, MC5. Yeah, definitely some of that in there for sure. Yeah.
So what's next?
What's
my friend?
next?
What do you got? What's cooking?
I thought I'd throw a curveball a little bit.
Okay.
Hanoi Rocks from Self-Destruction Blues. This is, I guess this album is a collection of different singles that they put out, but it's some of my favorite material from them. You know, their drummer Razzle was killed with Vince Neil when Vince Neil was driving drunk and kind of put an early end to a promising career. But they're like great glam punk. Like they get lumped in with like the wrong bands. I think they had more to do with like things that were happening in the late 70s than they did with like, you know, kind of 80s glam
more
metal.
like New York Dolls,
Yeah,
Johnny Thunders
exactly.
type stuff. Yeah.
Dead Boys.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing. So I thought I'd play Love's an Injection.
Okay. Okay. Wonder what that's about.
All right, I'll hit this.
Yeah, let's go.
Love's hot, love's an injection. Yeah, yeah. Love's hot,
like I heard a little bit of saxophone in there.
Yeah. Michael Monroe is the sax player, the singer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So that's an interesting dynamic, and it really says a lot about like the angle that this band was coming at it from.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely like early Aerosmith, the Dolls,
Yeah.
the Stones, all those bands, Dead Boys. But yeah, great songwriters.
It's really interesting. Bands like this that I think ended up getting lumped into a scene solely off of image, and it really had not so much to do with like what they were actually doing as songwriters.
Yeah.
And like it's really unfortunate when that happens, but it speaks so much to like how important image is as a band.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like, speaking of this band, I worked at a record store in the late 90s, and some of their CDs had come up in like the bargain bin, and this one guy I worked with was going to buy a couple of them. This other guy was like, if you buy those, like, I'm never going to let you live it down. Like, why would you want to buy those? I'm like, because it's great. Like, and at that point, like, Glucifer and Helicopters were exploding. And like, this really isn't that far off from what those bands were doing, Backyard Babies in particular. So,
sure, it's just like those bands looked more like post rockabilly or something, more of like a very like a, for lack of a better term, a more like masculine image.
Yeah. I mean, these guys look ridiculous. So, particularly on that album cover.
I mean, I would say, I think they look pretty damn good. They look nice.
Yeah.
So, they got the nice outfits, hair and makeup. They went for it. They had a vision. Same thing on the back. They had a vision. They're going for it.
Gypsy rock and roll.
Yeah, you can't really knock it. Yeah. But it doesn't really. There is definitely something about, I'll say, their image that doesn't scream that music to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that is.
Interesting. Like, what do you think when you see it?
When I see that?
Yeah.
I think I'm stuck thinking more like something like Poison. Unfortunately. Or, just like glam, rock, Sunset Strip.
Yeah.
Hookers and cocaine and rock and roll. That's the type of shit I think of.
Totally. And I guess, really these guys were ahead of the curve in a lot of ways, because I think they started around 78 or 79, and even on their first album, like, they have this look.
Yeah.
And
going back to some of the artists we were talking about before, they all looked like that too.
Yeah.
But I think there's just something about like the name association that gets lumped in.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah. For sure. What do you got queued up here?
So we're going to be moving into the first record of my batch that I have absolutely no idea about. This is a band, Excisis. Are you familiar with Excisis?
I'm
I
not.
don't even know how you would. So it's spelled. You could see here for the people on the stream, Exises. Excite. How would you say that? After our E-trope conversation.
Yeah. Exorcist?
Exorcist.
I don't know.
We can read this the hype sticker
What's
together.
the hype
So let me see if I can hold it. I'm gonna take this out real quick, and let me see if I'm skilled enough to hold this up so everybody can read this together. Is this gonna focus? Oh my gosh, it's all backwards. Focus, please. Yes, they are from Holland, and they play a melodic style of heavy metal. It all started, ellipses. Do you see that? Like,
I can't see any
it's written really weird, so I'm just I'll read it like this. Let me go here. So, yes, they are from Holland, and they play a melodic style of heavy metal.
That's all we need to know. Dutch heavy metal.
Yes. I will actually say that the rest of this is pretty uninteresting. The variety of songs like Fear for the Night, Some Sort of Freedom, and the ballad Stay With Me that make it a must not only heavy metal bangers. Wait. whatever. It's Dutch heavy metal. There's a picture of him on the back.
What song are we going to listen to?
So since they mentioned Fear for the Night on the front, and since it's the first track, I think we'll just give this a listen.
I've never heard of this record.
Me either. You know, who knows what we're getting into here. So we'll leave the mics on for some live reactions.
Yeah.
So my girlfriend Grace, I think she would describe this as a very specific style of metal.
Yeah.
That she calls Bill and Ted metal.
Okay.
like everything from the Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure soundtrack sounds exactly like this.
Yeah, that's very true. Like it's kind of like a watered down Dawkins a little bit, maybe.
That guitar riff's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's competent.
Yeah.
Oh,
oops, sorry.
That's okay. We're dealing with organic materials here. What are you gonna do? Mic's on. I said mic's on after I turned it back on. Oh well. So it sounds good. Like the production is clean.
Yeah. They can play.
Very ambiguous album cover.
Yeah.
I think we should show the promo photo on the back. I don't know if everybody got to see that quite yet. This is what you're dealing with, people. Sorry, that shrink's making it hard to see. I'm leaving the
Where'd
shrink.
you find this one?
So actually, I got this out at Preserving.
Okay.
Yes, it was sealed.
Okay.
And I think it was $6.
Sure. Yeah. Gotta do it.
Yeah. I know that there was a lot of stuff that they acquired in Japan and brought back here.
Okay. So
and a lot of it was like kind of like dead stock stuff, and I think this was probably from one of those Japan trips.
Okay.
So this is more
interesting.
Most likely a dead stock record from Japan.
Yeah.
That has been sitting over there for
competent,
for some time. This was 1986, Megaton Records.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Interesting. Have to do some research on them.
Yeah, and Grace is in the chat. Hello, Grace.
Hey,
I don't know
Grace.
if you were here when we were talking about Bill and Ted music, but this was definitely just a Bill and Ted sounding ass track here that we listened to.
For sure,
So.
it definitely was.
So I have a feeling that we're going to be mixing this up and playing something that's a little less Bill and Ted.
I like this whole format. Like I miss sitting with friends and like having a beer or something and being like, oh, I got this new record, and like just like jamming out tunes all night. And
That's like the idea.
Drinking a bunch of beer and or whatever and just hanging out. That is something that like as I've gotten older, like and with more responsibilities, like that just doesn't happen as much.
Yeah. There's zero beers right now, only waters.
And I just don't get to like shoot the shit with people and listen to music the way I used to. And that like, it's something that I really miss quite a bit, but I've replaced it with like going and hanging out at record stores after work on Saturdays or whatever.
Yeah.
So, this is like, it's just a fun concept. And
well, I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, man.
And I'm glad that you're like digging it, because like that's the exact same thing that like I had in mind with this was just like, you know, it kind of, I mean, the nihilist in me is like, why do I need to have cameras set up to do this? But I think that at least by putting this out there for anybody that's going to be watching it live. Oh, the camera froze again. Good. Great. For anybody that's going to be watching this live, and this camera's still working, so that's good. Anybody that's going to be watching this live or watching it later on YouTube or whatever, at least like maybe they can like hang out with us, and maybe it inspires some other people to just like hang out with their friends and just listen to some music and just like dig in. Because I mean, like, you know, this is kind of like what people might do. Like this, I've had some situations in maybe like the past decade of my life where this kind of happens, but it's people like, oh, look this up on YouTube. Now look up this on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's just like not the same as like actually being able to like, you know, like we just have 2 crates of records that we brought here, and it's like, okay, cool. It's like, just feels so much more organic, like, you know, it's super, super fun.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully people will come out. Is it June 6th when you DJ?
Oh, wow. Thank you for helping me out there. So we can throw that up there real quick as I as I was in the middle of fixing the camera. But June 6th, which is actually not too far from now. It's actually this upcoming week.
4 days.
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing pretty much somewhat close to this exact same thing.
Yeah.
Just, you know, playing some music. I won't be talking so much about the songs. I'll just be playing stuff. And it'll be fun. You know, it's the second one that I've done. The goal is to kind of be doing these every other month at Poetry in Millvale. A lot of people know it as the Old Whisper Nest. I feel bad continuously calling it the Old Whisper Nest. I feel like the people at Poetry deserve better than that. But it does help.
It'll end eventually. And people will know where it is.
Yeah. So
it's a fun idea for you know, a bi-monthly event. Cool.
Yeah, and like that's, you know, kind of going back to me and like all these other DJ events that I've been doing. You know, it's just like I really wanted to do like an all vinyl metal sort of thing. I figured it would be like a really cool way to, you know, get into playing the music that I enjoy the most, and also give me a reason to like still go out and dig for records.
Yeah.
Because I will say I did get to a point where it's like I have like all of the records that I think I want.
Yeah.
But I still like the idea of like having a reason to go out and like dig.
Yeah.
And now it's like giving me like a new purpose, instead of it just being like, oh, this is more plastic that it's gonna sit in my room and I'm gonna listen to it once. Now it's like, no, I'm like archiving things. I'm finding exorcists from Holland to spread the gospel, you know?
Yeah, just finding weird obscurities. Like, and it goes back to what you were saying about, you know, prior to the internet, where you're like, I have no idea what this is going to sound like, but I'm going to buy it anyway because, you know, Pusshead did the cover art or whoever, and just kind of digging for things and finding weird things, and hopefully they're cool. Otherwise, you spent however much money on something. But it's easier to do that now because you're an adult. You're not spending like the full $6 you have when you're 12 or whatever.
Yeah. And like I've found that like I'm at this point now with a lot of this stuff where even the stuff that's like bad is still good for some other reason.
Oh, for sure.
You know, like all these records are like a weird little time capsule of just like, look at this art, listen to this production. Like, it's just, there's like a lesson to be learned. And it's like whether or not like the music is good or not doesn't necessarily matter. It's still something that like somebody did.
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
still has like artistic value regardless
sure.
of the objectivity of good or bad.
Yeah, and
You
like
know?
where does it fit into what was happening at the time?
Uh-huh.
What were they thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fascinating. Then I find myself going on like Metal Archives and being like, who is this band? I just got a 7-inch from some band called Strange Flesh. They were from Connecticut. They were like kind of like Cro-Mags type stuff, but then I was like looking up, being a weird creep, looking up the members on Facebook. I'm like, are these guys around? Just like out of curiosity. Clearly I need a fucking life. But it's just fun because like you said, like I also DJ, but not necessarily like my main love. I get to do a radio show each week that I love doing, but it's a little bit different. And just getting ready for tonight was super exciting. Like, oh, I get to like play this, weird new wave of British heavy metal record that only me and you care about, probably. But
Definitely.
So, yeah. Should we play more music?
Yeah, let's go.
And you know what? I'm really looking forward to looking at those flyers. But
Oh yeah. Don't let I have not forgotten. We'll get there. We'll definitely get there.
You texted me or sent me a message asking to do this. I was like, I've got to play the Plasmatics. Like they're one of those bands that when I think of like listening to 80s metal, there's like with my friends, like way back, a couple bands that I think about are like Plasmatics, Merciful Fate, Sodom, Celtic Frost, like all those bands. So I was like, gotta play Plasmatics. So I brought the Butcher Baby single on beautiful multicolored vinyl you can see.
Yeah.
All right.
These cameras, we gotta. Our settings are a little. I feel like it's all getting blown out.
Yeah,
It's too late to fix it now, but that's
Yeah.
something to consider. I'm not Steven Spielberg. All right, I can't get all the contrast right.
Yeah, not only, like, I'm not Steven Spielberg. I can barely hit record on my phone most of the time. All right, here's the Plasmatics.
All right, cool.
Look you, baby. They're gonna put you away. It's exhausting. Put your baby dressed up in red. Put your baby messing your head. Put your baby go on at night. Put your baby turn on the light. Oh yeah. Oh no. Oh yeah. Oh no. Oh yeah now. Oh no. Oh yeah. Put your baby used to kill. Put your baby honor your will. Put your baby today is the day. Put your baby gonna pull you away. Oh yeah. Oh no. Oh yeah.
dramatic ending.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Very
Butcher Baby,
Space Gunny.
Plasmatics. What year was that? Is that early 80s?
Yeah, I think this is 1981.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I believe that's 81.
Hell yeah. So it's funny because like now in like the modern day that we live in, you know, like just because of I think the time that I grew up and how I was personally like introduced to the Plasmatics, like I've never really considered them like really metal in a lot of ways. But I mean, again, that goes back to what we were saying earlier when it was like there wasn't so many subgenres and so much separation, you know what I mean? Like there was a lot of like obvious like crossover with like Motorhead and stuff like that with that stuff. So it's like, okay, well it's like, is Motorhead a metal band?
Yeah.
I guess so, technically.
Yeah, to some degree.
But
sure.
you know, like, you know, if you listen to like Motorhead and Morbid Angel, it's like, okay, yeah, these are two very different things.
Yeah, Motorhead sounds like Chuck Berry by comparison.
Ironically enough, Chuck Berry might be more metal than Motorhead and Morbid Angel combined at heart.
yeah. There's some truth to that for sure.
But you know, it's just it's cool. But that's the thing that I think is like really fascinating about like listening to like a lot of 80s stuff in particular is because like so much change happened where it's like you have the start of the 80s where like you maybe have like Motorhead or Plasmatics or like Dio era Black Sabbath or like, you know, Paul Di'Anno Maiden stuff, right? All early 80s, right? And it's like, it all sounds like one specific thing.
Yeah.
But then just like, you think about like how short of a time period 7 or 8 years is, right? Like it's not that long, right? Like it's like, we've already known each other for maybe like 7 years at this point, which feels fucking crazy. Because like, you know, I feel like, you know, we haven't.
No,
but time flies. So in that same amount of time, you get to like 1987, 88, and then you have stuff like Morbid Angel, Atheist, all this like crazy like death metal stuff starting to happen, you know, Slayer and all this stuff. It's like the genre of music just changed so much in such a small period of time.
So rapidly,
And I don't really know if anything has happened that quick since then. At least to me, it's like, you know, I can listen to a lot of like modern metal bands now, and I may be able to like listen to something, we'll say, what's the year, 2024?
Yeah.
I'm sure I could easily put on something from 2014 that's going to sound probably identical. But I'm sure there's some case studies, and I'm sure you could be like, oh, there's bands that really changed a lot and have really been pushing. And also it does take hindsight, I guess, too, to really see. But if I take it back another decade, if I go 2004 to 2014, it's like, what is the differences? I don't know. I would need to like really kind of listen to like what was going on in that
like
time
I'd
frame.
have to sit and really think about it. I mean, it seems like at least 20 years ago, like black metal was still somewhat fresh, and now it's kind of just like,
well, now you have you can go to I was at me and Grace we were out at Robinson Town Center. And they have a store there called Box Lunch. I don't know. I'm pretty sure the people that own Hot Topic own it, but it's all like pop culture stuff. So a lot of like Disney and Harry Potter and just like all that sort of stuff. But they had a shirt in the window that was like a Star Wars shirt, and it said like Stormtrooper or something, but it's in like the black metal-y type of font, and it was just like. It's like even Disney's doing the black metal font thing now. Like it's really kind of like bled out, and it like leads into this other interesting conversation and thought that I've been having where it's like, what's going to be like the next visual branding evolution of like what extreme music is? Because I feel like it's been diluted to the point that like Disney's doing stuff that looks like this. It's like, what do we do to like keep counterculture alive? I don't know.
Like, where does it go creatively at this point?
It's just like interesting that like the aesthetic of it, and I understand the aesthetic of it, has firmly planted roots that are very strong. I don't expect them to go away anytime soon. But, you know, there's like so many records that I could pull out that are like here that are like 35, 40 years old at this point. And it's like bands are still doing these same aesthetics. It's like, you know, a lot of the art has changed, a lot of the sound has changed, but like the visual aesthetics, the branding, the clothes that we wear and all that stuff. It's like none of that shit has changed. I don't know if it needs to. It's just interesting.
I've actually started wearing a lot of pink. So, yeah, I don't know. It's at some point I would like to see things change a little bit, like just evolve to something different.
Again, it is like one of those like hindsight things.
Yeah.
But even still, like if I go back and think about like what did things look like 10 years ago? What did things look like 20 years ago?
Sure.
Doesn't feel that different to me.
No, it doesn't. No.
You know,
not
it's
something I've really thought about.
The only thing that seems to have really fluctuated is the bagginess of leg wear. Mm-hmm. You know, it kind of expands and contracts every so often.
Where are we now with it, though? Like, I don't even know, because I'm literally in my own little world.
I think we're in kind of a mid range. It doesn't really seem to be excessively skinny or excessively baggy. We're in like a normal range.
Which is probably like maybe where we were in the late 80s at that, where we pretty tight in the late 80s, and then...
Well, I don't know. I wasn't really quite around then.
I was...
What was your leg wear like in the 80s, Jesse Novak?
It was probably where it is, like, it was like normal, you know, like not baggy. It got baggy when I started to smoke a lot of weed in the 90s.
Okay.
Listening to Fishbone and Bad Brains with my friends and smoking tons of pot.
Okay,
so,
got it.
Yeah, that's when it got baggy for me. And then after that kind of like, after my lifestyle changed a little bit, I think my clothes started to fit a little bit better.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess so. Yeah, we're at like normal range again.
Yeah, that's what I think. But I don't, I'm not really keeping my because it's like youth drives the culture of arts and entertainment as it should be. Mm-hmm. And now as I am like inching closer and closer to the big 4-0, I find myself like less and less interested in what the youth is doing. Yeah. I'm happy that it exists. I'm glad there's still bands out there getting people to go out to shows and have fun. A lot of it doesn't click with me. Yeah. And I refuse to be that person that's like, fuck this new stuff. Yeah. It's just not for me. Yeah. As long as those people are going out and they have the same excitement for music that I felt when I was fucking 16, then music is serving its purpose. Yeah, you know? So, but I just don't know. I don't know. You hear about some bands here and there. Hear a lot of people talking about like bands like Knocked Loose and things like that.
That's the first thing that came to mind.
They're a pretty popular band. I've listened to some stuff, and like it's one of those things where it's just like, oh, like this is their version of this other thing that I listened to 20 years ago. It's like, now this is that for them. Mm-hmm. And cool. Again, I hope they're getting excitement out of it. Yeah. It's just like it's not my thing.
Yeah, I don't.
Or maybe it will be, because I don't know. Sometimes I might maybe one day something I'll hear it and I'll be like, "What is this?" And they're like, "That's not blues." I'm like, "Oh, I do like this." It's
I purposely check things out.
Yeah.
Like when I hear things like that or about things like that, I'll go and check it out as much as possible. I don't have kids. I'm not really around kids all that often, like youth. But I have a friend who has like a probably 16 or 17-year-old, and he's in like this beat down hardcore band. So I went to see them the one night, and it's funny to just like catch their vibe and kind of see where they're at with it. And maybe I learned about the band School Drugs from them.
Okay,
So yeah, it's like I try, like you were saying, not to be the guy who's like, oh, only old stuff. Like I always try and keep up. But at the same point, I'm like, I kind of like what I like, and I'm not going to dress a certain way, like just to fit in.
Yeah,
I'm too old for that.
Yeah, it's like I really only have like the capacity for like so much information.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, but at the same time, it's kind of like hypocritical because I'm like going out of my way to find like all of this old obscure stuff. Mm-hmm. And I could just as easily be listening to like new and supporting active bands that are trying to get their start instead of like digging up crap that's been sitting on a shelf in Japan for 30 years. But hey, I have my interests, I guess.
To kind of combat that, I stole this from Henry Rollins. During the week, I listen to new music, and on the weekends, I listen to old music.
That's awesome.
And that way I can make sure that I'm listening to like newer records, like the new Soft Kill or the new Cockspar record or whatever.
Yeah.
And weekends, I can listen to whatever weird new wave of British heavy metal and thrash and death metal.
That's that's actually like a pretty interesting approach to things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good way to compartmentalize a little bit. So, but yeah, I don't want to be a curmudgeon. So, yeah, that's how I handle it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And I think I do like passively like hear like a lot of new music, and some of it that I do rather enjoy.
Yeah.
So I'm not just like shitting on
Yeah,
everything.
for sure.
But it's interesting because like even a lot of the stuff that I hear that is new, it's like it reminds me of something that maybe I've already heard before.
Yeah.
But it's like that nostalgia is like what makes me actually like it. You know, because like it's like a lot of times it's like, for example, there's like a band called Vane.
Yeah.
And they put out a record called Error Zone, maybe, God, it was maybe like 5 years ago already. I don't remember when it came out, but it was recent, right? And it's very kind of like, you know, like metallic, hardcore, chaotic, somewhat kind of like Dillinger Escape Planning meets, you know, just like that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like cool to hear some shit like that again, because all of the bands that I could think of that it sounds like, they're either not making music anymore or they're not making music with that same youthful energy.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's kind of cool to hear like, okay, great. These are people that I'm assuming are maybe in their early 20s that have that fire in them and can like do some like cool stuff, even if it is like, to me, somewhat derivative and not like the most original thing. It doesn't have to be. It's still good.
Yeah.
And it's just fun to listen to.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's like that. While you were saying that, I was thinking about, I'm just not angry in the same way I was when I was 19 or 20. So sometimes I hear that stuff and I'm like, I mean, that's fine. I understand where people are at, but like, I'm angry about different things now.
Sure.
And so sometimes it's like difficult to relate, I guess.
Totally.
But,
yeah.
You know, like we've talked about, like looking at it with an open mind or listening with an open mind and being open to the experience and trying to figure out where people are coming from a lot of times, like what's driving this. Not only like the fury behind it, but also the music. So.
Yeah, it's one of the most, I guess it's like one of the most difficult things to kind of reckon with, I think, as I age is like, that sounds so dramatic, but you know, like, is like, how do you age gracefully in like alternative extreme music? How do I continue to like not only like listen to this music, but like play in these bands and like engage in this community, be a part of this world in a way that I could still be like a productive like person?
Yeah.
Because like there is something that's like inherently adolescent and kind of like dumb about so much of this music stuff. And like, you know, it's like I love the art of it, but like all of the like social drama, I have no interest or connection with so much of that stuff anymore. But I still want to continue to be in this world.
For sure. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
But I'm not alone. That's the thing, is I need to remember that like I have as many people, like everybody that I play in a band with, we're all aging together.
Yeah.
We're all in this together. So you kind of have to like look around and make sure that like you're surrounding yourself with people that have like similar values and things like that also like the same shit, and like you can all kind of navigate it together.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, that's it. I couldn't put it any better myself, for sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm trying to do that on a regular basis. Like, gonna go to shows and check out shows at places. You know, I love going to Shred Shed anytime there's a show there. It was funny, I went to a show at Ormsby maybe a year ago, and I was just sitting there by myself, and I clearly did not. I was way older than everyone. And some girl was like, "Are you the owner?" And I was like,
"Oh no!"
I was like, "No, I'm just hanging out watching Speed Plans play."
Yeah.
But that was the first time I was like, "Oh yeah, like maybe I'm too old, but I don't care." So fuck it. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Well, I guess let's listen to some more
listen
music. What do you think? That was a nice little chit chat. Yeah. So coming up next, I'm going to play a track from a band called Dead End.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Dead End?
No, I'm looking at that Metal Blade logo. And
yeah. So this is Japanese, kind of mid to late 80s band that I found doing exactly what I've been talking about doing. I'd never heard of this band, and it wasn't this record, but I came across another one of their records when I was in Bakersfield, California.
Okay.
At a pretty cool shop where, like, side tangent, if I would have had more money in that store, it would have been a fucking problem.
Yeah.
Because, like, somebody there, I guess, like, with it being, just closer to the South.
Yeah.
There was, like, somebody must have dumped this collection off there. Because, like, it was, like, the wildest collection of obscure Brazilian thrash adjacent stuff that, like, I had never seen or heard of. But they knew what they had. So everything was, like, 35, 40, 50, 60 bucks, just like a ton of money. But there's, I'm never going to put my fingers on any of that stuff ever again unless I go back to Bakersfield. Because I guarantee you, that's one of those things that probably nobody there probably gives a fuck about it. And it's just sitting there. Whoever owns that shop knows that it has value to it.
Yeah.
But it was like crazy. I was like, what the fuck is all this stuff? And it's like, at like a cheaper price point, I'm happy to take a swing.
Yeah.
But I can't take a,
$50 is different.
That's fucking crazy. Yeah. But I'm sure some of that stuff is sweet. But I found, not this record, another Dead End record there.
Okay.
And it was one of those things where I just saw it and I was like, what is it? And I was like, this band looks fucking sweet.
Yeah.
Like they had like just really good hair and makeup and all this stuff. And I knew nothing about it. And then I ended up playing the other record on a stream and it fucking ripped. Like really, really good production, really, really good guitar work. So then since then I've been keeping an eye out for stuff, and then I came across this. So actually we're kind of half and half here, where this is something that I've gotten recently, haven't listened to it at all, but I know that this came out after the other one that I have the year after, because the other one that I had was from 1986, and this is 87, the following year. So we'll just listen to the first track called The Red Moon Call Insanity.
A kamikaze attack heading your way is what that hype sticker says.
That it says a lot about the time period, I suppose. So let's give this a swing. The mics have been muted. That was Dead End. The Red Moon Call Insanity, track A from side B, 1987. God damn it, I can't even talk anymore. But the thing that's interesting about this is Metal Blade, and it's like so hard to like understate like how much shit Metal Blade put out in the 80s.
And
like the amount
a lot of it was.
the amount of records that they put out, like it's fucking insane that they just like had that liquidity to just be like everything you could it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So much stuff.
I read Brian Slagle from Metal Blade's book a couple years ago, and then it spurred me on to go and look at like the total Metal Blade discography, and it's absurd how many records they've released. And like you know, a lot of it they did like licensing deals in the 80s. But yeah, it's like crazy how much history that label has, like for 40 years now. Yeah, they've done a lot. So
well, hey,
yeah.
Shout outs to Metal Blade
to them.
and shout outs to Dead End. I really look forward to like listening to the rest of this record and digging more into that other record of theirs.
A lot of Scorpions on that.
Yeah. I mean, like just really solid, like solid playing, solid songwriting. That's the thing, is just like, it's like, that was the thing that really struck me about them when I listened to them for the first time on that other stream, was just like how, for lack of just, I can't say it another way, just like it was like very good compositions. Like you could tell, like it was very like well thought out songs, not just kind of like cookie cutter. Here's part A, part B, part C. There's like thought out stuff, and that weird little like synth little thing. Even though it was just like a little thing, it was still enough like interesting characteristic.
Yeah, it kept it super interesting.
Yeah, it was like very like almost like fucking like something from like an Argento movie or some kind of like weird like horror synth thing. Super cool. Yeah. But that's all I got there. Oh, we got EN4K still in the track saying, nice. I really like this Dead End track.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good. Good song. Check them out. Shout outs to Dead End. So what is cooking? What do we got here? What are you doing?
So Doom Watch, more local metal. This one is one that I bought initially on cassette when I was 13 because the only thing I knew was they were a local band and it looked cool. And then later, a few years back, I finally got it on vinyl. Let's see, we're not shooting down there. Yep. A Symphony for Decadence. This band had Jeff Cherub, who passed away a year or so ago. He was in Submachine for 30 or so years, also played in Plastered Bastards. This was his first main band. And this came out, I think, on like Relativity or some Relativity Records. But yeah, cool, like super fast thrash metal stuff. So
it's funny that they're called Doom Watch.
Yeah.
Given that context, but
yes.
I don't know. When did people start calling like Doom? When did that happen?
I think that happened in the 80s.
So is that
like St. Vitus and Trouble and Candlemass.
Yeah, because I feel like I've always known, like I've heard Doom like throughout obviously my life. It's not like a genre of music that I'm very well versed in. Yeah. And I never really even thought about like when did that subgenre when were people actually like putting pen to paper like in magazines and calling it Doom? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean. I figure it's with those bands in the 80s, but someone may have used it to describe Sabbath at some point or something, I'm sure.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, we're going to listen to a song from this one called Monstrosity. I know if you look on YouTube, there's a video for this song that they did. So.
Oh, like a produced music video?
Yeah, it looks like maybe someone from like Art Institute might have done it. It's pretty raw, but it's real cool. It's got like people stage diving and moshing. Cool. Yeah, so, yeah, we'll listen to this.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Therapy to Develop more efficient ways of killing. Higher death toll, feeding all its gold. Survivors live in pain, even fiction sounding tame. Behold the master plan, I am proud to be a man.
Fucking sick.
Yeah, those guys were raging.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome. It's so funny, like, you know, you listen to, you know, obscure stuff, but something just hits different about, like, something that's, like, relatively obscure, but that was, like, happening, you know, like, right here, you know, like, all those years ago in places that are, like, you know, probably, like, CVS pharmacies now or whatever.
Yeah. Exactly.
And, like, it's also interesting too, not to keep like harping on like how things haven't changed, but it's like I could like if I closed my eyes, right, and somebody was like, oh, like this is some new band that was touring with Power Trip or something like that a few years ago, I would believe you.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, like this is some new fucking thing. It's just like I would believe you. Mm-hmm. You know, it doesn't sound like really all that dated, especially look like the way that things rotate. There's a lot of that kind of like, I think there's kind of been like a pushback on like the overproduced, polished modern metal, and you're seeing like a lot of bands that are kind of more in like the death metal and hardcore side of things that seem to be like bringing back like a very like raw sort of production style of things, like, you know, miking gear. It's not super clean or anything like that, but it all sounds like this.
Yeah, which is, I think it's weird. I'm not, makes me sound like an old dude when I say this, but like I think this kind of stuff sounds good, like best with like analog recording techniques and like old equipment and everything. And you know, it's just not reality for people to record that way anymore. But I just think there's something to be said about like, you know, recording to tape, and you could still make things sound good and raw though digitally, I guess. So,
yeah, I think that the medium that like people were choosing to record on, whether it's digital or analog, I don't think that makes much of a difference. Mm-hmm. The issue is that with digital recording, there's techniques in like post-production things that like you could just make things like, just a little bit too clear.
Like too punchy.
And I don't think it really serves pretty much any style of music all that well. You know, I like it's just like, you ever like look at like yourself in like a public bathroom mirror and it's so bright and you feel like you could see like every single pore and detail on your face, and you're just like, you know, actually, like, I think I function better, and I think society functions better with a little bit of a blur. And I think that that's what, like, analog helps. It's just, like, if it's too crystal clear, it's like, it pulls you out of it for some reason. It's almost like, maybe a better analogy is, like, if you ever watch, like, an HD restoration of a movie, like, sometimes they look great, but sometimes it's, like, it's restored to a point that now it doesn't look right. Like, it's like the cinematic nature of it has been stripped away because it's so polished. And I think there's something about listening to music where it's like, if it's so clear, it like, it just doesn't like hit me the same way. I'm not like, I can't really explain it.
No, I can't necessarily either, but I know what you're talking about. But then there's a band like Radiohead or whatever, and I'm like, oh, this actually sounds really good like that. But yeah, I think there's it's like all the space gets sucked out of things, I think, when it's too digital. It's like, I don't know if it's too compressed or what happens. But,
it's like something just doesn't see. It's like looking at like, it's like looking at like a photo that you could tell was like AI generated. There's like somewhat like an uncanny valley. Like something about this doesn't seem right, and I think that's what happens with some like modern music, where it's just like, wait, like, what am I listening to? Like this sound like a group of musicians playing music. You know, it almost sounds like a bunch of nerds behind computers.
Yeah, yeah.
Which, don't get me, I like nerds behind computer music, but like if it's like being kind of sold as like heavy metal, it doesn't like click right in my head. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's maybe why something like Radiohead works, because it's like, oh, this is a bunch of like nerds with very expensive, weird analog gear, you know, just doing their little, I don't even, whatever it is that.
They do.
Whatever it is that they do, whatever Radiohead does. So I'm keeping an eye on a time here. So we got, Ian 4K said, the band Turnstile is a really polished band. I like them, but they fit in that category. Yeah, I even think that even for like Turnstile, I think they have some modern production elements to their stuff, but it doesn't, even their stuff's not like overly produced. I mean, I think that their stuff fits like right in the pocket of like, it's definitely like using modern techniques. Yeah. But I mean, like there's some stuff that I could show you that you're just like, what the fuck is, you know, it's just like, that at least still sounds like a band in a room. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's for me, if I close my eyes and I'm listening to something, I want to be able to just like picture everybody in a room, whether it's on a stage or a rehearsal room. Like that's, in my head, I'm like visualizing.
Totally.
Like,
and like it affects me most listening to like when I hear drum sounds. Like I want to hear like something that sounds like a drum set, the way it would sound to a drummer sitting behind the drum set. And like what I hear a lot of times, I'm like, that doesn't sound like a bass drum. That doesn't sound like even a real drum set. And like the last Possessed album, I was like, I can barely listen to this because the drums sound awful. But that's just like being picky music nerd shit.
Yeah, you've listened to too much music at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, that's precisely it.
Yeah.
Where you going here?
So I figured there hasn't been enough guitar in this stream. So I figured why not add a little Paul Gilbert to the mix here.
Man.
A little bit of Racer X.
Yeah.
Which is, I have some funny thoughts about this about this record and this project, but figured we'll just have some fun and listen to this, and then we can talk a bit about it afterwards. But this is Racer X, Street Lethal, another 1986 record. I'm going to play track 3 from this, which is a track called Into the Night. And it's just it's a fun little rock song. Yeah. You know, what are you gonna say? We could talk more about it after we've played it, but let's go. All right. Fucking good old Racer X Into the Night. That song rips, man. I fucking love that song. But you know, we were chatting a bit off mic while the song was playing about it's kind of funny that it has the with Paul Gilbert on the front because completely uncertain if it was warranted for him to put his name on there like that at that time. But I mean, they were apparently endorsed by, you know, BC Rich, Seymour Duncan, Sabian, all kinds of shit at the time. So perhaps like this was kind of maybe just right at that time that you know, things started to, you know, work out for the guy.
Yeah, you know, wild, like we were saying that John Aldarte went on to the Mars Volta, and Scott Travis went on to Judas Priest, and the singer played drums for Badlands for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Had no idea. That goes back to like that whole like, I guess like the 3 degrees, the 7 degrees of separation, however you want to call it, with like all these bands in this time frame. But I know that when we were listening to that last one, Jesse he's eyeing up these old flyers.
Yeah.
I think that we want to get into this. So why don't we do that for a bit, and then we'll listen to a little bit more music. I normally run these streams until 9:30. It's 9:12 at this point. We've been flying through time. We're not necessarily stuck to a particular time frame.
I'm far more sober than the last time I was on your podcast. So.
Well, me as well, my friend. Me as well. So, cool. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to plot these down here. I'm just going to let you go through them. And, you know, if anything comes to mind that is of any sort of interest, you can let me know here. So this was Testament, Green Jello, and Propane.
Yeah.
1993.
I was at that with a friend of mine. I was, I think, in 10th grade, and we had taken the bus out from Dormont to city limits, which takes forever. Like, you could drive to Cleveland just as quickly. And, you know, at the time, Green Jello had that huge hit.
The Three Little Pigs.
Three Little Pigs.
Yeah.
That was huge at that point. And Testament was kind of like on like definitely a little bit of like a downturn popularity wise, because it wasn't with Alex Skolnick and Louis Clemente. They had one of the guys from Forbidden playing guitar, and it was a great show. Not a big show by any means. There weren't that many people there, but then we missed our bus to go back to Dormont, and we ended up, somehow the guy I was with got us a ride with someone who like dropped us off. So that was my story for that show. But Green Jello probably outdrew Testament to some degree that night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. City Limits.
Yeah,
that was like...
That's one of those venues I've just heard so much about, and I wish I could have been there at some point in time.
I mean, some great shows. You're not missing much in terms of the venue itself.
That was that Penn Hills area?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was like really when metal really started to dive down popularity-wise at that point.
Oh, really?
I think, around that time, like bands like Testament weren't getting as much love from people.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Yeah. It's like, at this point, this is what, almost a year to the date before Kurt Cobain said goodbye to everybody. So, hey. Oh, it was 420.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
It was.
All right, so there's two of that one. So, we'll move on. So, here's I'll go get that camera back. So looks like there was a fun eviction flyer. Yeah. And the thing that's kind of funny about this is like you see like it's kind of like pulp novel imagery, and like if I like see something that like Todd posts now for like the cheats, it doesn't look too different from this, like which is actually kind of funny. Do you know anything about like Kraken?
I don't know anything about Kraken. I know that someplace else was like kind of more like a hard rock, like glam metal club. but I guess Eviction played out there a couple of times. I know I've seen video on YouTube of them playing there.
Oh, nice. Maybe it was from this show.
Yeah. It's funny. I was never old enough to go to someplace else, but I had this friend who somehow, even though we were in high school, like always managed to be able to get into places like that. He was like that dude.
Okay.
And he would always be at someplace else.
Well, we can keep it going here.
Yeah.
There's another Eviction flyer.
Yeah. I like that one. Gangbang was Oyo's band.
Oh, yeah.
Before Ton of Bricks. That would have been cool to see those bands there.
At the BBT.
Yeah. Yeah, cool venue.
Yeah, all shows $3. It's funny, inflation.
Yeah,
In a
no 412.
Post pre-area code sort of situation.
That's probably like 92-ish or 93.
Yeah, it doesn't say.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a couple of that one as well in there.
I was at that one too.
All right, so it's
Corrosion of Conformity blew everybody off the stage that night.
Yeah?
Yeah, and it's funny, I think Todd was like fucking with the audience and like just because no one was moshing and he was just like, I think he mooned the audience or pulled his pants down or something. Yeah, Corrosion of Conformity was really good that night.
Hell yeah, that's
cool. They were
cool.
touring, that was when Blind was out and like Vote for a Bullet had just probably been released at that point. It's a good show. That's a club I miss. Graffiti.
I like this. Let me see if you can see us here. Their only club showcase concert in the U.S. straight off the Iron Maiden tour.
Yeah, it was an off night from the Maiden tour, so they played Pittsburgh.
That's super sick.
Yeah. Was not at that one, but I saw all those bands at various times.
So what do we got here? This is Assailant?
Assailant, yeah, they were
and
great.
Phantom Crew. These,
Yeah.
I don't
Local
know anything.
bands.
Both local bands?
Yeah, Assailant was from like Tarentum, New Ken area. They were death metal. They had a demo on one of the songs. Chris Barnes sings on it.
Oh, wow.
And just one song. Sorry.
Yeah, I know what you mean,
Okay,
but like
yeah.
the guest vocal.
Yeah. And then Phantom Crew was just a cool, like, kind of, like, power metal, thrash kind of band. Like, yeah, they were cool. And I think they were from Indiana, PA.
Yes. Yeah. I also, another thing that I really, really like about this flyer here, and I think it's probably on some of the other ones, but the directions for how to get to city limits. It doesn't have. It didn't have the bus directions for Jesse. Come on, focus. You can kind of see it.
Didn't have the bus directions for me and Mike Binder to get there.
Yeah. So that's really fucking funny. All right, so this next one is this is pretty cool. So this is a Circle Jerks flyer that seems to have been colored in for some reason. And I'm actually really curious if I'm the person that colored this in.
Oh, yeah.
I genuinely
Would your
don't
dad know?
I'd have to ask him. I never really thought about that until just now. But yeah. Circle Jerks and the Weirdos, 1990. With a flyer that maybe I possibly colored. I genuinely do not know.
Wonder how that show was.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to ask my dad, I guess. So, do you know anything here about Widowmaker?
Dee Snider.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would have been cool to see. That was that brief period where Pittsburgh had a cool rock station when Magic 97 turned to 97 Rock, and they were playing they would play like Trouble. They were playing Memory's Garden from their Manic Frustration record, and they were playing like Widowmaker. I remember hearing Widowmaker on that station.
Yeah, I remember 97 Rock. I'm pretty sure that like my dad definitely had like a bumper sticker or something like that. That logo was kind of like burned into my brain.
Didn't last long.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is an interesting one. It's a Black Sabbath Dehumanizer Ides listening party flyer, which is kind of a very obscure thing to have. I'm
hoping Robbie made that.
That's actually a good question. I should ask him.
I'll take a picture of it and text him.
Yeah, I'd be like, dude, did you make this flyer? That's so funny. But yeah, just like a different time when like, you know, you would go to, do you ever go to any like listening parties at Ides or a thing like that?
I went to some listening parties. I went to like a Rollins band listening party when the End of Silence came out.
Okay, so what was that like? What was the deal?
It was like there weren't many people there. So it was like just like there might have been 12 people there.
So I do remember, fortunately enough, I remember like the old Ides.
Yeah.
And I really liked the layout of like the old Ides. I have like very nostalgic memories of being in there as a kid.
Yeah. That was such
and
a
I imagine
cool
all of
store.
this would have happened there.
Yeah. That was a great store, and I don't know what happened to it.
It's funny for like, you know, for a place that like I could walk to if I wanted to, I never go there.
Yeah.
And also a place that like had like such a formative grip on me because like my uncle would take me there as a kid. I'd go there with my dad as a kid. When I was old enough to start taking the bus, I would take like the bus to go downtown. I would like skip school to go to Ides.
Yeah, so would we.
But at some point in time it just like changed.
Yeah.
When they moved like, you know, down a couple doors and it's like it just doesn't, it never hit the same. I still went there sometimes, but I feel like the last time I was in there was like probably like over 10 years ago, easily.
Once Brave New World opened and Robbie was working there and Spar, of course, like that was my store, like there in Jerry's. And at the time there was like, you know, Ides was selling like the neo-Nazi stuff, which was kind of lame.
Okay.
So I think a lot of people stopped going there around that time. I know I stopped going there around that time.
Interesting.
So that would have been like 96, 97-ish. So.
Got it. Yeah. Well, let's keep digging through. We got plenty of stuff, plenty of memories. So what do you know about Medallion?
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing at all.
So what we can learn from this, experience one of the most provocative metal acts to come out of the heartland of America.
Okay.
They were playing it someplace else, which, you know, as you had told me, that was more of like a rock hair metal club. So my guess is that I don't know if maybe they were local or not. This looks like it could have been an ad mat for a show.
Yeah.
Metaphor Records, 1992.
Intense, passionate, and powerful.
A must-see. Iron Planet Metal Magazine is what that says there. So, it looks like somebody on the back started trying to draw the Iron Maiden logo, and I can almost guarantee you that was me. So this gives you a hint of what my childhood was like.
I love it.
So I love the fact that it
explains who you are.
At some point in time when I was a kid, I was holding this in my hand and I didn't care about it. So I was trying to draw the iron. I guarantee you at this point, my dad probably stopped. He's like, dude, don't draw on that. Because if you can't tell, my dad was really into like saving a lot of stuff.
It's funny. I saved tons of stuff at one point. I had like hundreds of zines, and then I was moving at one point, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, and I threw it all away.
Damn.
It was just so dumb of me. I had like hundreds of like early 90s, mid 90s, late, I mean, really, it was probably 2004 when I threw it all away. Flyers, articles, a loss. I should have given it to someone.
Definitely should have been archived. Yeah. Oh well, what can you do? So we already saw this one. This was in there. All right.
Disturbance. I saw them a few times.
So is that another local band?
Yeah, I don't know where they were from. I saw them at the Banana once, and then I saw them open for Pantera at Metropole.
Yeah, this looks like the T-shirt for like every band that's existed in the past 3 decades. Do you know about Minotaur?
I vaguely remember that name from like the 92, 93 era, but I don't remember anything about
the Spotlight Lounge.
Yeah, that was out in McKeesport, I think. That general direction. I was there a couple of times, but yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Disturbance was a cool thrash band.
Nice. All right. So this one looks like it's more of a punk flyer.
Yeah.
Sludgeworth from Chicago featuring That Drunken Bastard, Danny Vapid of Screeching Weasel, plus 2 other bands, only $4. So there's a lot of interesting details on this flyer. I like that it's like, tell your friends, tell your mom. And it's like you with like a little sad face thing. The all ages is cute. I also like the plus 2 other bands. They're good, bitch. Ross says be there. Is that the upstage? What does this say? Punkin' fuck rock. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder who set that show up.
Yeah, it's a
Manny gig or something. I mean, definitely not his flyer.
Yeah. Manny's flyers have looked the same since I was in high school. So that's one thing there. But yeah, I don't know anything about this.
Yeah,
so.
me either.
All right. Well, this isn't a flyer. I don't know exactly what this is. It's a flyer for something. Rock and roll has come full circle, and it's coming together in a circle of soul, a unique combination of music and message from Hollywood Records. Oh, it's like some like
advert.
It's like an advert for like what seems to be like a Christian metal thing.
Weird. Okay.
Maybe Hands of Faith.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm sure my dad was just like, "Oh, this art's cool." So this is funny. Just because it's an old flyer. This could very possibly be an old Manny flyer.
Yeah.
But it's a record release party for local legend Weird Paul. Wednesday, October 17th in an undistinct year, but
yeah.
Weird Paul's an ageless soul.
Yes, he is.
With the debut of Kick the Can, ex-members of Lesser Apes and Cousin It. Do you know anything about any of this stuff?
I know Weird Paul.
Yeah, we all know Paul. But yeah, that's the Upstage Lounge. So is that just the Upstage? They call it the Upstage.
Yeah.
It was called the Upstage Lounge at some point. Keep flying through these. We're kind of like in like the punk and like weirdo adjacent stuff here. So there's But do you know anything about this one?
Yeah, this is a
Public Enema presents All Ages Dance. Hip and Happen Music, Progressive House, Acid, Industrial, Eurobeat, and more with your funky fresh hosts, DJ Home Scaffold and The Sea.
No, the Public Enema thing is vaguely familiar, but that would have been
like a production company or like a promoter company?
Yeah, or some people that were just using that name. But yeah, that's not something that was way outside my.
Sure, it's kind of like area. Early, like rave adjacent.
I probably also would not have been old enough to go to Upstage at that time.
Well, moving on.
Yeah,
I think me and you both know these guys.
The Cynics at the Banana.
Yeah, so this is a pretty classic thing. I feel like if I ever want 5 hours or more of unsolicited content, I could just show Greg Kostelich this flyer, and I'm sure I'll get every fucking story that you could ever fucking imagine. Yeah. But I mean, this is a good one. You know, I know that they were it's my understanding that they are almost practically like a resident band at the Banana.
Yeah, I think they played there like more than any other band, like more than Half-Life, more than anybody. So.
Yeah. And I mean,
it's a cool flyer.
It's very, very crude and just kind of to the point. I like it. I like the just scribble around the sides just to give it like a little bit of sauce, and just like it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it is. Would have been a cool show to be at.
Yeah. So the next flyer in this actually has the distinct nature of being the only flyer in this batch that I was actually at the show.
You were at that show?
Yes.
So what were you, like 6?
Yes. I would have been 7, actually, at this point. No, I was 6. I would have been 6 years old, and yes, I did go to this show. So this was the Cramps in Reverend Horton Heat.
That would have been amazing to see.
Yes, I actually got to see the Cramps 2 times.
Okay.
When I was both very young. I didn't appreciate it at the time, but like I was definitely like... so the only reason I ended up going to this show was because my uncle took me, and nobody knew that he was taking me.
Okay.
Like it was a type of thing where like he would do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like because like he kind of was like I would get dumped there.
Yeah.
And like it was like watch Brian, and it's just like, oh, what'd you do? Oh, we just sat around and listened to records. That was always what I was told. But like, going, seeing a lot of different shows, going to record stores, and also sometimes being put into some positions that I probably shouldn't have been put into, to be completely honest. I have way more negative things to say about the motherfucker than positive. Yeah. But, we can romanticize it with the fact that I got to see the Cramps. 6, yeah. So this is super cool. And it's fun to have this. Yeah. And you could see at some point in time here, there was some sort of darts. So this is Brian's dart list. And this was, I guess, at some point in time. So it looks like my mom and my dad were playing darts against, I think that, so Sue's my mom, Brian's my dad. And I think maybe, Kenny and Colleen. So this was 2 couples, and I guess they did a thing where they swapped couples and played darts against each other. Is what's happening here. This is I'm not even going to bother switching to this. I don't really have the best memories of my family, so we'll just keep that going. But anyways, what do you know about the iguanas? Nothing. The iguanas are back. That's all this says.
Yeah, nothing at all.
All right, well, let's keep it going. So it looks like here we have Decadence with special guest Assailant. Yeah. At PNA, Natrona, PA. Yeah. Thrash Night.
Love it.
Very cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
This is a pretty cool one.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to go to that, but I couldn't get a ride. I remember being really bummed.
Yeah, I love just like obituary just written on the side in markers.
And spelled incorrectly.
Obituary. Whatever, do you know anything about Sadists?
Yeah, they were from California.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. That would have been
I'm sure this
sick show.
I'm sure this is a cool show.
Yeah.
And there's obviously there's multiple copies here of that one. Keeping it going.
Is that the band? Was it Circle of Soul that had the flyer?
Holy shit. I think that we just connected some dots here. Oh, yeah. All right, so this is connected with this. First 100 people get a Circle of Soul cassette.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're promoting there. Okay. So this was at someplace else with the Priest.
Yeah.
D Priest.
Natter De Priest is the singer for that band. He was in London.
Well, I'm sure that was an exciting show.
Fun show, I'm sure.
All right.
The Great Cat.
Yeah. This is fun.
Someone posted a Great Cat flyer that I guess Eviction had played. This is just recently, and Todd replied, "That chick was really fucking annoying." And I also like how Assailant is spelled wrong on that.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, on the side. I mean,
Yeah.
I like that this was like, yeah, so they just took it looks like it was like a long shell CD case.
And
that they just photocopied.
They took no care to.
Yeah. And just,
it's kind of great. These are gems.
Yeah. So there's that. We got some more disturbance here.
What's that? Harbinger? Harbinger.
World Metal recording artist. Oh, Harbinger. World Metal recording artist. And Disturbance.
Yeah.
At the Banana. Designed by Offending Graphics. Do you know anything about Offending Graphics?
I seem to remember there being like shirts with that logo like on the sleeve or something. But yeah.
Tad.
That would have been cool to see. I never got to see
with barbed wire dolls.
Saw them a bunch.
Yeah. Upstage. Just kind of fly through some of these. All right. So we got Creator with Biohazard and Morgoth.
Yes.
What's more? Do you know about Morgoth?
German metal.
German metal. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. German death metal.
It's City Limits.
Yeah. It's funny because me and my friends wanted to go to that show, but I had this friend that wasn't allowed to hang out with me. because I was a bad kid.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
I wasn't
and-
aware I was hanging out with a bad kid.
Yeah, we were like calling back and forth. I like called his house and his grandmother picked up and she was like, "He's not allowed to hang out with you," and like hung up on me. We couldn't go to the show.
Damn.
So, would have been cool to. That was, I think, Biohazard's first Pittsburgh show.
Oh, wow. Well, 1991.
Yeah.
Super cool. What can you tell me
Yeah.
about this one?
I wasn't there, but I would have liked to have been. I love Necrocedia and Eviction. Norman Bates and the Showerheads.
Okay, that's a band name.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Yeah. That's a cool flyer.
Yeah. All ages welcomed. $6 show. They were.
That's
Pretty crazy for the time.
This one's good.
All right. So
Hardcore.
One Vision. Is this a hardcore band?
I don't know, it just says hardcore at the bottom.
Oh, fuck. Okay, yeah, that's funny. That's good. One Vision in Withdrawal Sickness at the Banana. March 31st. Hardcore.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish...
You don't know
Yeah,
anything
if-
about this?
No, I hope if someone knows something, they get in contact with you.
I think what I'm probably going to do, I mean, like, I think that this is, like, taking a little bit longer than I thought it was going to, which is actually totally fine. There's a lot of shit here. But I'm not really in any particular rush, and I'm having fun. So I think what might be cool to do, especially for this segment, is to maybe clip this out and upload it, like, in addition as its own thing.
Yeah.
Just so we could share it around easier and just try to get some more context about... you know, all the stuff here, because it's like just fascinating to me. It's like a weird just time capsule of like things that you missed from places, bands that I never heard of, venues that I'm not familiar with, like just a different time.
Yeah,
you know, and it's cool. So
I love going through like stuff like that.
What do you know about TKO at the Graffiti?
I know that there was like a local band called TKO, and then there was some like a bigger band from the Northwest called TKO. I think that's the local band. But yeah, I know Graffiti was an awesome club.
Yeah, this I like that so many of like, you don't get this anymore, but like so many old these old flyers would say like the band and like appearing at, like we don't do that anymore. Now it's just like, you know, like
the name
band,
of the place,
venue. Like it's very...
You're gonna have to start doing that.
Yeah, I might do that. Yeah, Greywalker appearing at Spirit Lodge. I don't know, wherever the fuck we're playing. Where do they even let metal bands play anymore? I'm just kidding. They're doing fine. All right, so what do you know about this? This is a flyer that I remember this one from this batch that and it's just so fucking funny to me.
Yeah. I actually had their demo tape.
Okay, so is this Raquel?
Yeah, it was like real like Def Leppard-ish.
The thing that I like about this flyer is that it seems like they kind of like were playing quite a bit of shows. So you can see they have it split up in between their shows. In the South Hills, it's someplace else. In the North Hills, at Rascals. This is the first time I heard that place in this conversation.
Yeah, I haven't.
So what was Rascals?
I was never there. That was just like the name of a place that I had seen like way back then. But
you can see they played October 27th and the 28th and November 23rd. And in North Hills, they had gigs November 3rd and November 6th.
So 4 or 5 times each month. Yeah.
But this is just the little
hysterical flyer.
The little smiley faces.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this is just... I want to, like, steal this gimmick for Greywalker.
Yeah,
you know, just get somebody to draw us and just do the faces like that. That's fucking...
That is good.
Yeah, if anybody knows anybody from Raquel, let me know. All right, so we got a Dead Milkman flyer.
Yeah.
Plus special guest, the Cynics.
The Cynics always playing.
Yeah, you know, this was at Graffiti, 1990. I'm sure this would have been fun.
WXVX. I don't remember that radio station.
WPTS and WXVX. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually one that, even though this is definitely before my time, it's still one that I never heard of either.
Yeah. Have to look that up. Would have been cool to see the Dead Milkmen at some point.
Boilermakers.
Where's that at? Oh,
Live
it's
at so yeah, so
oh, okay.
Boilermakers live at Electric Banana. Special guest Catch 22. Two great bands rock the Electric Banana.
Nice.
Oh, and then at the bottom here, it has like more upcoming gigs for them. So I guess they were reasonably local, because one was at Graffiti and one was at the Evergreen Hotel, Babcock Boulevard, North Hills. You know about the Evergreen Hotel?
I've driven past, or I drove past it. I don't know if it's still there.
Huh.
But
Yeah. Well, that was a thing here.
Trash Vegas.
The 4th of July Biker Bash with live band Trash Vegas at the Upstage. Food, fun, beer, strippers. $5 proceeds benefit Children's Hospital.
Oh, that's good.
That rules.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
That might be my favorite, just because of that.
That's so good. This next one.
This is extremely intense.
Yeah. So do you know anything about Flesh Eater? It's extremely heavy, extremely intense thrash with Guilty as Charged at the Banana.
No, I don't know anything about them. I wish I did though.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, you know, if some of these bands, if they recorded or anything, if there's any real record of them. Like if Mike Syke has it on his YouTube channel or something.
But yeah, this is a very
Probably high school kids or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Guilty as Charged.
No idea. No idea. All right, so we got
Record release party.
Yeah, so I feel like one thing that I've learned from these flyers is that Eviction did a lot of record release parties, supposedly. Yeah. You know, so this was Metal Blade Records Eviction. Again, Metal Blade putting out a lot of stuff,
So
it would
that
seem.
been around 1990.
Including Pittsburgh's own there.
Yeah.
With the Gods of Grunge, Baphomet, plus Pittsburgh's Batham.
Yeah.
You remember them?
They were in, some of those guys are in Satanas or Sathanas.
Okay, yeah. Everybody that comes gets a free copy.
Nice.
NFO Records and the Flagrant Underground. Do either of those?
I think Flagrant Underground was a recording studio. I don't know what NFO Records was. You need Spar to look at this stuff. He didn't know that.
Super cool. All right, so
What's
this is
that at? Continental. Oh, Erie. PA.
Erie, PA. Okay, so now we're a little northern here on this one, but yeah.
Yeah. MDC.
Yeah.
My Three Scum. They were My Three Scum was an Erie punk band.
Well, that makes
And
sense.
if I remember properly, they toured. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was them. When they would do like regional tours, they would do it in a hearse.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and that was all that I mean, they were cool from like kind of Ramones-ish punk rock.
Super cool.
B&R, Black Ritual.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like after they weren't Black Ritual. They changed their name to B&R. Shout out to Dan Ford, their bass player. He was in Vicious Blade and did that Eviction reunion.
Oh yeah.
Playing bass for them. So yeah, I'll have to take a picture of that and text it to him.
At the Eden Park roller rink.
Yeah.
In McKeesport,
Love it.
PA.
With Altered State and Requiem.
This also has the directions in case anybody's like curious about how to get to the venue. $5 per person. Call for more info. Doors open at 7. Don't miss it. You want to be there.
I was at that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're back to ones. Yeah. So this is another St. Patrick's Day party eviction flyer. Got Disturbance, Sub Effect. Again, at the Banana.
Eviction played that show without Todd. There was some other guy singing for them.
Interesting.
And he, I think he only played a couple shows with them. And he the one thing I remember is he wrapped himself in an American flag and was like rolling around on the ground.
Okay.
But I don't know what his name was or anything.
What was the story behind that?
I I mean, Todd would be able to tell you better than me. I don't know.
Yeah, that's somebody else I need to have look through this
Yeah.
shit for sure.
But yeah, I remember Sub Effect doing like Sepultura covers and like Creator covers, stuff like that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Pittsburgh's own first debut appearance of Disturbance.
Nice.
With Phantom Crew and Shelter at the Banana.
I wonder
Offending
if that's
graphics
like
again.
Shelter from New York, or if that's some other band called Shelter. Interesting.
$7. This might be one of the most expensive flyers we've seen.
Yeah. It's probably an all-ages show at the Banana, so Johnny could make money since no one would be drinking.
Got it.
And is that another one with a like graphics?
Yep. It's the Offending Graphics is on there
Nice.
too. 1990 Rock Challenge finalist, Saint and Sinners special guest Rusted Root.
Yeah.
This is definitely a little left field from the stuff that we've been looking at.
That's cool though. That
But-
what, 1990?
Oh,
Yeah.
a polished power pop band. Tense melodic sound, a producer's or record company's dream. Scott Mervis. I should take a picture of that and send it to Scott. That's funny. So yeah, this was, the year's not on here, but I'm sure it was quite a while ago. Well, 1990, I'm an idiot. It's right there.
Well, it
So-
could be
oh.
91. Like,
Oh,
depending
fine,
on,
yeah.
It's that general era though.
Yeah, Rusted
Rusted
Root
Root.
nominated for Pittsburgh's Best New Band. Yeah, well, let's send this flyer on its way and keep going. Brick Mistress.
I think they were from Wheeling. I could be wrong though. Maybe just some of them were from Wheeling.
Yeah.
Jim Dofka. Who else?
Well,
played on
actually, you're close because like their mailing address is in Clarksburg, West
Clarksburg,
Virginia.
okay.
So they were definitely like West Virginia then. 'Cause that's where the mailing address is.
that? Oh, dude.
And it
This, sorry, I just looked down and this next flyer looks amazing.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. But yeah, so what else is there to say here?
Someplace else. Heavy metal, early 90s, late 80s.
So this is something else that I think also Grey Walker
Yeah.
needs to just completely steal.
Metal in progress.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
you
like
do.
great. Band name, date, venue. That's it.
Metal in progress. That's all that anyone needs to know.
That's fucking hard. I think we're getting to the end.
Yeah.
So
Ashron and Eminon. Eminon was the Stump Grinder brothers. Did you know them?
no.
Dan and Dave Hoffer. Yeah, they were like these two twins. They were fucking nuts.
So rock and roll nightly in Oakland. What a time to be alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess this was some sort of a Thanksgiving situation. Thanksgiving adjacent, Sunday, November 18th benefit.
What's it say? Proceeds benefit someone's turkey.
Julius's Turkeys. Donations accepted.
Yeah, I wonder what that. Like, if that's a company that need like group like a turkey farm or something.
Or like turkeys for the
Yeah.
homeless or something like that. Yeah. Decadence.
More of them. And
Plus Death Mass.
Yeah.
Hey.
I've got the Death Mass demo. One of them anyway.
Oh, is this the same? Is this the same show?
No, I don't think. Because
Oh no. It's
Yeah.
just Death Mass. I'm sorry, I got two different logos there. But hey, there's another. It's a very brutal looking flyer here. It's pretty cool.
yeah,
Another show at the Banana. So much happening at the Banana. World War III with Black Mistress at City Limits.
it's a Dio adjacent band.
Yeah.
I think everybody in that band played with Dio at one point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Vinny and
formerly,
Jimmy
yeah.
Bain, formerly of Dio/Rainbow. So, hey, you know your stuff. You know your
I
stuff,
need a
Jesse.
fucking life, like I said earlier.
This is, we got some stuff stuck together here. Oh no. There was tape on the back of this one. That's okay. Anyways, this is the Lazy Lay Band live at Frankie's.
Frankie's. Where's Frankie's? Is there an address?
Swissvale.
Okay.
Yeah. Very cool. And then stuck to the back of this is Johnny Van Zant at graffiti. So I'm sure that was an interesting
Yeah, that would have been
1990.
Triple X.
This is very low effort flyer here.
Yeah.
Candlemass plus Atheist and Bitter End.
That would have been wild to see.
Yeah, just like the juxtaposition of Candlemass and Atheist, or
Yeah.
just that's a very yin and yang sort of thing going on. But yeah, gotta love that
Great
promo photo.
picture, yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Messiah. That weird, whatever that is that he would wear, like the monks thing.
So we got Metal Church. Again, if you notice the MET is colored in with a pencil, I most likely am the person that did that. With Eviction, City Limits.
I was not at that show. I remember a friend of mine went though, but yeah, I couldn't go.
Tight.
Just no money.
So this is a good one here.
Yeah.
So this is a wanted ad. Drummer wanted for hard rock progressive metal band, interested in creating original music as well as performing material by Badlands, Black Sabbath, New in parentheses, Fate's Warning, Maiden, Queensryche, Rainbow, Triumph. They threw Triumph in on the last minute. You could tell they already had everything else written out, and somebody was like, "No, you should probably add Triumph on there as well."
Yeah.
For more information, you can call Tom or Ron. I'm very curious if these guys ever found their drummer.
I hope so.
And if the band ever turned out to be anything. You know, so this is something I'd be very curious about if
Yeah.
anybody knows. And then looks like the last flyer in here is Pantera at Metropole with Sacred Right.
I was at that one.
Nice. That was probably
That
the-
was canceled because of the blizzard of '93, and that was the rescheduled date.
Yeah, you're right. Rescheduled date.
That was probably Pantera at their peak
Yeah.
in terms of like before Phil Anselmo just stopped singing and was like stumbling around stage drunkenly screaming.
Sure.
All kinds of stuff in there, man.
So it looks like the rest of this stuff
Lita
is
Ford.
TV Weekly. There's a Lita Ford picture.
Oh,
There's like an ad for a Violence record, ad for a Suicidal Tendencies record. There's a picture of Queensryche, a really funny photo of David Lee Roth.
Oh man, there's a gem there.
Yeah, actually, I think this opens up. Yes. Got this
Wow.
Monsters of Rock at Three River Stadium. 3 with the number 3.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, this would have been fucking insane. Kingdom Come really got the short stick on there. You know.
Their guitar player lives in my neighborhood.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No shit.
Danny Stagg.
And then
Some other.
it's like a meet Walter Fritz, Democratic candidate for president of the United States, 1984. This is like
Wow.
very, very old. It's like a free ticket. I don't even know why that's in here. So I guess there was like a band called Exposure. Do you know about Exposure?
No.
So they were definitely local, but it's like they have like an interesting it's kind of like a press kit on the back, and then it has like a list of some of their dates, and then they also like printed out like a calendar that you could see that has like all of the shows that they're playing.
It's a lot of shows.
Yeah, but I mean it's all Pittsburgh. Someplace else,
Al's Cafe.
Butler. They played the WDVE Rock on the Water, I guess. Metropole, Rascals. Butler, yeah. So but they were going for it.
Yeah.
And then there's some info about them. This is Shelter. This is a very, very small flyer, and apparently Don's phone number's on the back of it. But don't know much about that. And then we're just kind of. I guarantee my dad was just like, "Oh, this is fucking sick." That's probably it, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's
amazing.
That's
a pile of Pittsburgh history right there.
Yes. Super cool stuff. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to take us that long to go through all of it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. I mean, I knew how much was in there, but I think it was just cool because like you had like a lot to say about a lot of that stuff. It's kind of a very, very dense pile of things.
Yeah.
So I guess let's run till 10. So we went an extra half hour, which means
All
we
right.
got 5 minutes You got a record queued up. This is a DJ stream after all, but we went
Yeah.
down memory lane.
Yeah, we went.
So why don't you just send us off in what I guess we'll say is our last track.
This is, so I bought this record at some store in New York. I walked in and it was on. And I was like, what is this? This is amazing. This band called Sacred Blade. And they're from Canada. And it's kind of like, it's just sort of weird, but it's kind of heavy. So I figured I'd pick it up. And I think we're going to listen to a song called, what song are we going to listen to here, actually? This is Fields the Sunshrine. So, all right. One more song.
Okay, so this is French or Canadian? Okay. Let me see here. Yeah, because it looks like... so Black Dragon Records is there in France.
Yeah.
They're Canadian. Yeah, I love this, like, very, oh, we gotta...
Mics are on?
No, the mics,
Okay.
the mics are on. I just have the right camera. I thought I had this camera on. So, I love the album cover is really cool.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that like, faked, like, space landing for a band photo is ridiculous.
It's so weird, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, like I said, this is the wrong song.
It's all good.
Your body's warm, now the standard team's the one which thinks it's yours, 'cause
So that was some Sacred Blade. And that is going to be pretty much our stream here. We've been going for a healthy 2 hours and 32 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think that's quite a while here.
Yeah, it is.
But it's been tight, and I think that it's safe to say that we should do this again.
Yeah,
sometime. I would love to have you back on.
Yeah, man, anytime. I'd love to.
Cause we both have way more records than we listen to.
Yeah,
we may need to. Maybe next time we could try to find some way to restrain the talking. But I don't know. Maybe the talking was also good. Maybe that's what made this interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well,
I'm still figuring out the format of like what this is. Mm-hmm. You know.
Yeah, you'll figure it out,
or maybe this is just it.
Yeah, just
two
people like letting it whatever happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool to go through the flyers and listen to some records along the way. We definitely did more talking than music listening, I think.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's good for the uploading on YouTube thing, because everything that I've uploaded so far, like it all gets flagged because it's music, right? Mm-hmm. But like sometimes the worst thing that happens is like your video will be it won't be, you can't have it public. Mm-hmm. Unless you like cut out a certain song, depending on like the usage rights. Luckily, YouTube has like a feature now where it can do that in app. Like it can edit out the audio that's flagged for you, and then like reprocess it with the cut in there. So it's not like I have to delete the video and re-upload it. But yeah, like it gives you like a whole timestamp, and it'll be like every single song. And for most of the time, it's just like, this is all copyright claimed, but it's like it can live on YouTube, but you can't make money off of it. And I'm like, fine, perfect. I don't want to make money off of this. I just want it to exist.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, there's one where it's like, no, this song, like, no, in no way. Of course, like an Aussie song or something where Sharon's like, no.
Hopefully, everything we played was so obscure that it won't.
Yeah, this was definitely way more of like a pretty obscure one.
Yeah, I didn't even do that on purpose. I brought like non-obscure things too.
Well,
it just happened that way.
Yeah,
it was fun. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, let's do it again.
And that's it. That's been my stream. And if you're here live, or if it is before Thursday, June 6th, please don't forget that Thursday, June 6th, you can come to Poetry Lounge. I'll be spinning music. Jesse might show up. You can come say hi to us. We could talk about some old flyers or something. I don't know. Just come hang out. Get a drink.
Records.
Yeah, whatever. That's really all there is to it. So, with all of that being said, I'm going to end the stream. So, until next time, everyone, take care of yourselves. Take care of the people around you. Peace out. And we did it.
Yeah.